back in about 1989, and I was working at Key Bank as a teller. And on Friday evenings, they would bring all of the kids in. I shouldn't say kids, but all the residents from Josina lot. They would bring them all in about 5:30, right before closing time, to cash their checks. And every Friday night, they were so excited and so happy. They would come in, this big group, and it was just a refreshing part of my day after dealing with other customers all throughout my day. And they were so happy with their checks, and I developed a relationship with a few of them. And I got talking with the director that would bring them in and was asking them about what they did for the holidays. It was getting to be close to Thanksgiving. And he told me that most of them all go home for the holidays to spend time with their family, that they all have families. That made me feel a lot better until he told me all except for one. I'm like, all except for one? And he said, yeah, all except for one. There's one that does not have any family and that he stays there with them. And I'm like, which one? And they said it was Michael, which Michael was one of my favorites. And I just thought, okay, we got to do something about that. We started having him over for pizza. At that time, it was every Monday we would get him, every Monday, for cheese pizza. That's his favorite. So he just kind of became a part of the family at that time. Huh, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that worked. Yeah.
When she first was, telling me about how she met Michael at work and was thinking about bringing him home, I wasn't too sure, you know what I mean? I was really skeptic, and once I met Michael and just fell in love with him, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
What we did is we would pick him up every Monday, and once Michael gets in a routine, it becomes a routine. That's his thing. He has his little things that he does. Back then, we would get him, and the very first thing he would do once he get in the house is he'd go upstairs in my son's bedroom and get his Batman costume out, because he loves Batman, Spider-Man, all that. And he would go get the costume and come downstairs and act out his little play of being Batman. Something else that he would always do, which he still does today, is get the newspaper out and read it. Has to go through and read his newspaper. It's another little regular thing that he has to do. He likes to do that. And then, of course, eating his cheese pizza, and then his ice cream, watching his TV Land. He loves his TV Land when he's eating. Archie Bunker, and he'll sometimes start singing along with the songs and that. And we just let him do his own thing, because if you try to do something out of the ordinary with them that you don't normally do, it's, little bumpy waters there, He definitely felt like family. He definitely loves and still does to come. I know he looks forward to it. He just gels with everybody. Just fits right in, right at home. When I was pregnant with my youngest son in 1991, we were getting him every week at that time, and he was living in a group home that was more of assisted living type out on Holland, Sylvania. And when it would be time to go home, he would start to almost go into like a convulsion. It was very scary. I thought we were going to have to call 911 at one point. And when we called Pat, the director at that time there, he said that it probably is a good idea if we backed off a little bit, because maybe it was hard for him it was too emotional maybe to go up and down from being here as a family in a house and then going back to that group home. He thought that might have just been too difficult for Michael. I was afraid for his health, maybe it was just too much on him.
And I just think that it was like a roller coaster. Like she said, it was just so hard for him he wanted to stay. He'd always tell us house, he wanted to stay home, house. And I think that was really hard for him. And
we did have to stop getting him for a while. We always did often think of Michael, and because we did get him on the holidays, and I often thought about him in the holidays, and who was taking him, because I know that there was people there at the Josina lot that did try to make up for his family that he did not have. I was at a restaurant in 2002 and ran into him there, with some other people. And I just thought to myself, I know that's Michael. And sure enough, it was. And I asked how he had been doing, and they said he was doing great, that he lived on his own now in a house with a couple of other guys, and that he loved it, and he was doing really good. So I thought, you know what, I would really love for my younger son to meet him and to see if I couldn't try to, maybe get him again. And instead of doing it every week, thinking that maybe that was too much for him, maybe every other week would be a good idea. So we got a hold of Pat again. And of course, they welcomed that idea. So we started getting them every other Monday, and on Christmas, and on Thanksgiving, and on his birthday. On your birthday. Yeah. And on Halloween. It was so exciting. I couldn't wait for him to get here that day. And I remember that day because it had snowed. We got a lot of snow that day. And I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to go over and get him after we had set it all up. But we made sure it worked out great. He came over, and I just knew when he came in, it was just like he'd never left.
It was awesome. It was awesome to see my car. I missed him. So we had a lot of good times. And like whenever he's over, if he's not entertaining me, I'm entertaining him.
We use his language all throughout our week, even when he's not here. Just like they call me Pappy, which is what Michael calls me. My husband's name is Butch, and they call him Boo. He calls him Boo. So they'll, call him Boo. Or my husband's always going, wait, which is what Michael always taught us. Huh, Michael? Wait. Yeah. His normal day here is us picking him up, sitting in the chair, getting his newspaper, reading through the newspaper, eating his cheese pizza with us all sitting around, doing the normal things. We get him every Halloween, and he typically doesn't like Halloween normally. Halloween is all different because we're all out front passing out candy, and he just is not liking that. He just wants us all in the house and everything to be normal. But the past couple years, he has been starting to come outside and kind of getting into it a little bit better. Thanksgiving and Christmas, he's okay now. He's talking about 2-4, the whole month of December, because he knows he gets to come here and open up presents. And everybody embraces him in my family, and everybody, enjoys him for the holidays. Every Christmas, we do a Christmas card insert with our family's photos in it for, throughout the year. And we always have a picture of Michael. Always include Michael in it. Everybody knows who Michael is, huh? Thanksgiving, we get him probably around 4 o'clock, I think. And we bring food back because we have it out to my aunt's house or my sister's house typically, which is farther away. So we will end up bringing it home and then having it here with him, with just our family. I have always got him, like I said, every other Monday, without fail. And we were in the middle of our car. I had to trade it in. It was a lease. And I was so consumed with trying to get this car, a new car, because I had only so much time that I had to, do that I forgot to pick Michael up. It was on a Monday. And I forgot to get him. And I'm going to tell you, I cried the whole night because I get a phone call about 8 o'clock at night from one of the girls there asking me if I was supposed to get Michael that day. And as soon as she said that, my heart just sank, and I'm like, oh my gosh. He had actually started walking. Nobody was there at his house, because there are a lot of times when we go to get him on Mondays, there is not anybody there. They've already taken care of him, and they just know that we're going to be there to get him. So there's not any adult supervision, because they don't have to be supervised all the time. Michael is a very good caretaker, and he takes pretty good care of himself, him and the other guys that live there. And so he started walking from our house, from his house here, and luckily a neighbor that lived in the neighborhood spotted him and kind of knew that he shouldn't be where he was at that time, and directed him back home. And then they called, and oh my gosh, I felt awful. I just felt terrible, but he knew he should be here.
We'll remind I'll remind her, she'll remind me, and just just so we know that
that never happens again.
It'll never happen again.
No, that was awful.
It was just always fun, having him around when I was a kid. Just a different experience, I knew he had something different that was wrong with him, And then, like I said, it just makes me feel better to, it felt good to have him around, and then to actually help somebody and to bring him in to kind of, part of the family. But that, like, being that young, I didn't, really didn't see it as that, I just kind of seen it as him coming over and kind of having fun with him, because being that young, like I said, it's not really, you don't really comprehend so much. See, he quit coming around, I want to say, I think I was like maybe 8 or 9. We started getting him again, I was probably maybe like 15, 16. And then by then I had, knew a lot more about it and could comprehend more, what was going on. It was really good to get him then, because now I knew, what was going on. And I'm just a caring person too, and it's nice to have him come around and just to be able to do things with him and, stuff like that.
When I first met him, I didn't really know too much about like disabilities and people with disabilities and things like that. Michael just accepts everyone. He's friendly to everyone. He always plays with me. Like when I was a kid, when I first met him, we basically call him family. He doesn't have any family, so like we're all he has. So I absolutely love it. Like having Michael has really taught me a lot about people with disabilities.
A lot of times you hear, people, they'll make fun of people that have a disability and stuff like that. And, ever since I was a kid, that's one thing I've never done. I've never made fun of nobody for having any type of, disability or anything, because that could easily be you or I or whoever, because anything can happen like that, or people can be born like that and it's not their fault, But it's just, it does change you, and I think it makes you a better person to have somebody like Michael around. And it really shows you, what's going on and what's most important, because, he really don't have nobody. And for us to be there and to be able to do things with him, just little things make his day. And a lot of people don't have a big heart like my mom does. And it's cool how, she can see somebody like Michael who's in need, and he really is. And he needs somebody to be there for him, and a lot of people look past that, or they always say, oh, somebody else will help him, or somebody else will pick that up, and that somebody else is my mom.
It truly, truly warms my heart to know how compassionate my boys are with Michael, because I know that, as they grow into men, which they are, young men, that they are compassionate with other people as well. My older son, Chad, also has another guy with a disability that he tries to mentor and tries to help, and it just makes me feel really good. I know that he's got a big heart. Tyler's the same way. Tyler truly loves Michael, and I really feel that Michael has really taught our family a lot about compassion, a lot about love. This is the most loving, unconditional love right there.
We met on our freshman year of high school, and we've been together ever since. 29 years I've known her, and we've been married for 20. And it's like I was heading down the wrong road, and she just turned everything around. And thank God that I met her. And she tries to save the world. If it's not one thing, it's another. When she worked at the bank, I don't know how many times I come home, she's got boxes of, hey, you got to take this box, you got to do this, and this old lady don't have no food, and you got to take this, which is just great, and it's just changed me in all kinds of ways. And, you look at and you reflect with Michael and what she's the one that brought Michael into my life, and.
But I have to say that truly Butch has more patience, 100 times more than what I do, even with Michael. Butch has always been the one there to, like he said, entertain, Michael, and he is very dramatic, very dramatic. If we were right now to turn on the radio, put some music on and start him going, he would, believe it or not, as
even
much as he looks like
ready
he's
to fall
sleeping,
asleep, yeah.
He would start dancing around. He'd take the remote control and act like that's his microphone and start singing and dancing into it. You know, and on the way home, you always have to have the music on for him, you know, and the
He'll
song
tell you.
on. So he'll tell you, yep, turn it up.
Peace.
Yep, turn it up. Huh, Michael? Yeah, you like your music. Huh, yeah, that's right. Yep, you're a good boy. Michael is in our life to stay. We couldn't have it any other way. Huh, Michael? Yep, that's right. Michael's here. Michael's a part of the family. Yep, he is.